Well, I'd be happy to go to jail. I mean, if you want me to go to jail, I'll go to jail. If I don't have a home, what does it matter? This is so totally turned around. I mean, our child's been tormented and harassed for 2 years, and I'm the one going to court.
Okay, good.
I mean, we could have pressed charges against those two little assholes on any number of occasions.
You still could if you want.
You know, once one of them smashed her head into a wall, and another time they put her into the
baseball cage.
The baseball cage.
Look, we're not going to press charges. He's just...
She lost a tooth. I'm just saying, I'm the one on trial, and it should be them, okay? It's irritating.
Look, before we go in there, you need to just...
We wouldn't be here, Malcolm, if you hadn't lost control. Those boys already saw you attack their father. Now you want to stick the police on them?
Try to remember, I was defending our daughter. She thinks this is my fault. I don't know, maybe she thinks I should go to jail, too.
That is ridiculous. I'm just upset. I don't want Martha in the courtroom.
What? I thought we agreed.
I do not want her living through this again.
But she wanted to be here.
No, she wants to please you. She thinks that's what you want. She wants to make you happy.
Brooke, I need her in there. I need the judge to see her face when people are talking about what she went through.
You want her to cry? Is that going to help your case?
Our case, Brooke. Try to remember we're on the same side.
I don't want her to cry.
Well, she probably will.
I promise you, this is in her best interest. I need her in there. If she gets too upset, you can take her out.
Why's everyone looking at me?
Eric and Josh were playing with some younger kids, and they started to get a bit rough with one of them, and Martha, instead of notifying a teacher, decided to deal with it on her own.
They were taking turns punching him in the stomach.
She started yelling at them to stop, and they got embarrassed, I think, and they started to push her around.
And how did you become involved?
One of the teachers told me about it. There'd been problems the whole year, and since Josh's and Eric's fathers were there to pick them up after school, I thought it would be a very good opportunity to try and resolve the issue once and for all. I called Martha's house, and Mr. Camden said he would get there as soon as he could.
So you all went to your office?
Yes, and things were going quite well. I was making progress with Eric and Josh. They were explaining to Martha how they felt. And that's when Mr. Camden arrived. He walked in, saw Martha, and he got quite upset. I tried to talk to him, and he just started yelling at me. And then Eric's father said something, and Josh's father said something, and that's when Mr. Camden turned on them and attacked them. So I called the police.
And you're sure that it's Mr. Camden here who threw the first punch?
Yes, definitely. He threw a number of punches at the other men before they, started to defend themselves.
Thank you.
Is it normal, after a playground incident, to call the children's parents into your office?
Usually the homeroom teacher deals with it, but there was a history between Martha and the boys.
What kind of history?
Name calling, pushing, hair pulling, things like that.
And who was doing these things to whom?
Well, on some occasions, it appeared as if the boys were ganging up on her, but Martha never seemed afraid to take them on.
How do you mean, take them on?
She's very verbally advanced. She would often speak her mind.
You say that like it's a bad thing. You're speaking her mind.
Like I said before, these matters are better handled by staff members.
Staff members? How did the staff members handle it when Josh and Eric smashed Martha's face into the batting cage or pushed her down the stairs?
Things had been acrimonious between these three children for some time. We were trying to find a way to resolve their differences.
Their differences? In all of these incidents, except when Martha was trying to prevent the boys from harming other people, was she ever the instigator?
Well, I don't...
Because when it comes to the issue of blame, you seem ready to spread the responsibility around.
Your Honor, Miss Wilcox might be starting to feel like she's the one on trial here.
Is she, Mr. Ray?
Your Honor, it goes to my client's state of mind when he walked into that room and saw his daughter surrounded by her tormentors and their fathers.
And the point is?
The point is that he didn't see anybody who was willing to protect her, and that includes Ms. Wilcox here.
That's not true.
Really? Why didn't you wait till my client was there before you started the meeting?
It was getting late. The boys' fathers were in a hurry.
Never occurred to you how frightening that might be for Martha? You never noticed how scared she looked?
All kids look scared when they go into a vice principal's office.
Do all kids cry and quiver? Isn't that what my client saw his daughter doing when he walked into your office?
I guess so.
Yes or no, Ms. Wilcox? Was Martha crying and shaking when my client walked into that meeting?
Yes, she was.
And what happened when you walked into that office?
I was upset. Miss Wilcox had refused to acknowledge how serious the problem was, and all of a sudden she's having this meeting. I walk in and Martha's sitting in the corner and she looked so scared. I mean, I don't know, I thought I was being reasonable, but they just seemed to be saying the same things that Brooke and I have been hearing for an entire year. Except now that they were more or less blaming my daughter. And there she is sitting there crying and shaking. I had to do something to stop it. And look, I know what I did wasn't right, but I honestly felt that I had to protect her.
And why is that?
Because I knew if I didn't do something then that those boys were going to be at her the next day or the day after that, and I wanted it to stop. I wanted my daughter to be safe.
Thank you.
You look scared.
Your daughter wasn't in any immediate physical danger, was she?
Well, maybe not then, but an hour later, I don't know, the next day, they were eventually going to corner her somewhere and either verbally assault her or actually physically harm her.
And you thought that by beating up their fathers, you could somehow prevent that. I have nothing further. Thank you.
She asked him a question. I think he should be allowed to answer it.
Go ahead, Mr. Camden.
Martha thinks that this is all her fault. We haven't been able to convince her it's not. They did a real job on her at that school. The worst part, though, was that meeting. She had to sit there, being forced to listen to two grown men blame her for getting their fucking asshole sons in trouble.
Mr. Camden, please.
Sorry, I'm just trying to tell you how she felt.
And how do you think she felt when she saw you attacking those two men?
Your Honor.
I think that she was grateful.
It is clear that Martha Camden was bullied and tormented by these two boys. Bullied to the point that she was repeatedly abused and battered both by their words and by their actions. Her attempts and the attempts of her parents to stop this cycle of bullying never succeeded. Nothing they did, no one they spoke to, nothing could stop these two boys from hurting Martha. Until the day Malcolm Camden, acting as an agent for his 9-year-old daughter, exploded and assaulted these two fathers in self-defense. He felt that if he didn't defend his daughter in a forceful way, then this cycle of bullying would continue. I'm submitting case law to the effect, R.V. Lavallee, and I'm asking you to acquit Mr. Camden based on the fact that he reasonably believed that Martha would be in danger if he didn't do something to protect her, if he didn't somehow cause this cycle of bullying to cease.
Martha Camden, and by extension her family, were no different than a battered wife. They'd been subjected to the same types of terror and frustration common to victims of spousal abuse. And when Mr. Camden walked into that meeting, he was, in my opinion, suffering from a form of battered wife syndrome. You're free to go, Mr. Camden.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I was expecting, I don't know, some kind of punishment or something.
She made the leap. She's a good judge.
I just hope this doesn't lead to open season on teachers and parents.
What she really means is she's happy I'm not going to jail.
Me too.
Thank you, sweetie.
I just think there must have been a better way for us to handle it.